Poland is one of the biggest countries in Europe, and unfortunately Poland doesn't have the biggest roller coaster collection. This big country mainly just has one big park called Energylandia, so this is gonna be a pretty one-sided list. In many of my recent videos I've got many requests saying do Poland, and I've chosen to highlight Coaster-matic saying can you do Poland? Well, yes of course. So now I've made the list containing 15 of the best roller coasters in Poland. So sit back, relax and enjoy this video. And coming in at spot number 15 we got Frida at Energylandia, and if I'm being completely honest, this might be one of the most stale layouts I've ever seen on a new gen Vekoma. In all honesty, I think the purple look of this ride is way better than the ride experience itself. Maybe I'm a bit too harsh on this family coaster. Frida starts off with a decent drop, but then after that you have a few drawn out turns, and that's pretty much it. So you get 2 laps on this ride. The forces aren't really there because it's way too drawn out, but you got some speed, so that's pretty okay. And coming in at spot number 14 we got the Energus roller coaster at Energylandia, and well, this is another Vekoma family roller coaster. And well, what can I really say about these Vekoma coasters? This is a family coaster yet again, and now it's green. It's themed to one of the mascots of Energylandia. This is really one of the older Vekoma family coasters, but I think this layout is a bit more forceful than Frida. This old Vekoma family roller coaster layout is a bit more sharp. It may be a bit more janky, but the turns is taken with a greater pace. What can I even say, man? Overall more forceful with stronger ladders and a bit more shaky. There's also some statues to look at, so pretty nice. And now coming in at spot number 13 we got Boomerang at Energylandia. Wow, we got another family roller coaster by Vekoma at Energylandia. How surprising, but this time we got the Boomerang model. This coaster yet again is part of the new gen Vekoma Boomerang coasters, and the color scheme is awesome on this one. This ride has a way more compact Vekoma Boomerang layout with a few more twists and turns. This ride layout does have some forceful turns, but there's no air time, and the backwards section is too slow in my opinion. So overall decent, forceful, colorful and new, yes. And now coming in at spot number 12 we got Light Explorers at Energylandia, and wow, surprisingly we got another Vekoma family coaster, and this one is another Boomerang. But this Vekoma Boomerang actually features the out and back layout, which I prefer. Light Explorers really has a great location where it dips over and under the water, so this cool location of the ride is a big plus. And overall I just like the out and back layout on these family Boomerangs way better. The front section really gives airtime on all these airtime humps, but yet again we have another lackluster backwards section, but I can't really do anything about that. So let's move on. And coming in at spot number 11 we got Honey Harbor at Energylandia, and of course yet again we have another family roller coaster by Vekoma. Vekoma must have made some big cash with Energylandia. Honey Harbor is one of the newest roller coasters at Energylandia, and it is also located in the new candy themed area. And this ride has an awesome family coaster layout. This coaster layout is very whippy, including small airtime humps and strong twists and turns. And you're also lucky enough to get 2 laps on this little coaster. So combined with a smooth ride experience and a beautiful color scheme, you got a great family edition. And now coming in at spot number 10 we got Speed at Energylandia, and surprisingly we got a new manufacturer on the list, and we have Intamin with this huge water coaster. This huge Speed water coaster features the iconic Intamin water coaster lift with the tilt. The Speed just builds on this very drawn out huge drop at the start, and then you have a cool coaster section that showcases a lot of speed. So in all honesty this name is quite fitting. This ride finishes up with a soaking splashdown section, but this splashdown mainly hits the front row of the cart, and all the water also goes into the boat and the front row just loses their feet. And coming in at spot number 9 we got Choco Chip Creek at Energylandia, and now we're back with the Vekoma family coasters, yay! But this time we got the Mine Train model with 3 different lift hills, so we got a very lengthy layout. But unfortunately this Mine Train coaster doesn't have the iconic mountain that almost every Vekoma Mine Train has, so that unfortunately means this is one of the low tier Mine Trains. But lucky enough Choco Chip Creek still has a decent layout with many twists and turns, and if you really want to have a bit of thrill on this roller coaster you need to sit in the back row. This is where you get the most intense experience on these Vekoma Mine Trains. And coming in at spot number 8 we got Mayan at Energylandia, and now we got another Vekoma, but this time it's an SLC model. And then you people might think, oh no, it's an SLC, it's so rough, it's awful, oh my god, it needs to be on the bottom of this list or even away from this list. But no, Energylandia has chosen to get new trains on this ride. You still have a pretty rough ride experience with strong positive G-forces, but now you can survive this roller coaster. You got the vest restraint, so that deletes the headbanging. So right here in Energylandia you can experience the high tier SLCs. And coming in at spot number 7 we got the Dragon roller coaster at Energylandia, and now we got a suspended family coaster by a manufacturer. I won't say it starts with V and ends with Ma. And this Vekoma family suspended coaster features the iconic and traditional coaster layout for this model, but it's just still great, man. Got a great and forceful drop, especially with a pull in the back row. Then you got a cool overbank with positive G-forces, and after that you got the low to the ground elements and the cool helixes with decent forces, and that's pretty much it. They've actually put a decent amount of theming to this roller coaster, and most of this roller coaster section in the start is over water, so that's also cool. Now let's move on, man. And now coming in at spot number 6 we got a werewolf at Mayaland Korvenati, and to be honest I didn't even know this small park existed. But this werewolf coaster is a wooden roller coaster made by GCI. This wooden roller coaster still features the traditional family roller coaster designed by GCI, and I've ridden some of the clones, and this roller coaster layout really is great. This wooden roller coaster has a great first drop that twists down, and after that you have a great pacing throughout the whole ride experience with a few floater hills. So overall small, smooth and forceful GCI wooden coaster. And coming in at spot number 5 we got Formula at Energylandia, and now we're yet again safe and home at Energylandia. And Formula was actually the first new gen Vekoma roller coaster that made a comeback. This small thrill roller coaster by Vekoma can overall be described as short and punchy. You start off with a punchy LSM launch that goes into this hang time fill inversion. After that, Formula has a low to the ground layout with many airtime hills and whippy inversions. And this is really a great prototype roller coaster by Vekoma, hands up man. And now coming in at spot number 4 we got Abysses at Energylandia. And well, how many times have I said Vekoma at Energylandia? But this time around we got a way bigger Vekoma launch roller coaster. Abysses features a very lengthy multi-launch layout by Vekoma. You start off with a small and punchy launch with a few airtime dips and turns, but then Abysses rolls into the second launch, and this is a great launch that goes into a great top hat. The near vertical drop is unfortunately trimmed, but after that Abysses goes into a very lengthy layout combining good and whippy inversions with ejector airtime moments and a bit of floater. And you could even argue that this layout is a bit too lengthy because at the end this train is very slow. And coming in at spot number 3 we got Leg Coaster at Legendia, and now we've finally moved away from Energylandia, but this time we still got Vekoma, and it is very fun to see Vekoma made this intense thrill ride coaster in a very remote park an hour away from Energylandia. But Leg Coaster could be one of the most intense rides Vekoma has made. Leg Coaster has a very forceful and very lengthy ride layout. You start off with an ejector airtime filled twisted first drop that goes into a sidewinder element, and the rest of Leg Coaster's ride layout is pretty intense. You got many whippy inversions combined with many different airtime hills. It isn't really lengthy like Abysses, but this is way more punchy. So surprisingly a top 3 spot for Legendia. And moving on to the big boys, at spot number 2 we got Sadra at Energylandia, and I might get a lot of hate for putting Sadra at number 2, but hear me out. Sadra really is one of the biggest and most relentless RMC roller coasters they've made. This roller coaster really has a relentless pacing. First of all, you have a world-class first drop that is vertical. This is best experience in the back row. After this awesome first drop you have a very fast turnaround section, and after this you got this huge 0G stall. This is one of the best they have made. This coaster also have a very whippy wave turn over the station and many ejector airtime hills at the end of this ride layout. And honestly I think it has a few lackluster elements such as the turnaround that doesn't give airtime for me, and this floater airtime hill, it is very weak with floater airtime. Overall Sadra is a world-class roller coaster, but I think it lacks a bit of airtime in my opinion. But when I visited in April it really seemed like Sadra was a bit slower than expected, so that could maybe be the reason why it's number 2. And now coming in at spot number 1 we got Hyperion at Energylandia, and for me this is the best coaster at Energylandia and in Poland right now. Hyperion is a huge mega roller coaster made by Intamin, and this is actually the tallest roller coaster in Europe with a lift hill. This coaster almost has a 300 feet near vertical first drop. Let me say the start of Hyperion is maybe one of the best starts on any roller coaster in the world. You have this huge first drop with a lot of airtime, and after that you have one of the best airtime hills in the world. This airtime hill really feels like sustained flowjector airtime for many seconds, and after this a cool turnaround section in form of a dive loop that has crazy whip. And this coaster layout also contains many low to the ground elements such as S-hills and wave turns, and these are also yet again whippy and forceful. In all honesty I think Hyperion has one weak element, and that is the floater airtime hill that is very drawn out. This only offers weak floater airtime, but that's my only negative about this ride. So now if we quickly look at the parks with the most coasters on the list, we have Energylandia with 13 coasters total, and after that we got Legendia with 1 coaster and Mayaland with 1 coaster. And Vekoma is really dominating Poland with 11 coasters on my list. So now you finally made it to the end of this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I don't think I've missed some quality coasters in Poland, so at the end of the day I'm always gonna say bye bye.